a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Thomas King. I am the CEO and owner of Florida Firearms Academy. Brandon is out today. I think he's out probably mouth feeding a eagle back to health or something. He's always doing some kind of great deed. He probably heard about some poachers getting seals or something, so he probably flew out there to help those little baby white seals out there. Today in studio, I have Alex Black Belt Lima today.
Yeah, buddy. I don't want to be cynical, but I think Brandon's more so getting a tan and in a pool.
Oh, he's out getting a tan, having a good time.
Yeah. But yeah, maybe there's a seal in the pool. I don't know.
He is always trying to do some good deeds out there. I always see some good stuff online for him.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And today, if you've not been on or listened to the Consumer Quarterback Show, Brandon does have over 40 different plus partners on here, 80 different categories for you to listen to, so you could check out and become a little bit more streetwise today. And also, we have a couple listings to poach up.
Yeah, so from the Platinum MVP team over at Keller Williams, everybody knows Brandon and Lindsay run the best real estate team in all of Florida and soon to be worldwide. Prestige, worldwide, wide. One of the properties we'd like to showcase for you from the Platinum MVP team, let's go with, how about 147 Callaway Avenue in Spring Hill, Florida. This is a nice little home in Spring Hill. I like Spring Hill. I'm a fan of Spring Hill. Fully renovated from top to bottom in 2018, minus the ceiling fans, so you're going to have to change those out if you want smart ceiling fans, whatever those may be. You got a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage with a paved driveway. The pavers look excellent. It looks like that was recently done. Looks really nice. You got a fenced-in property with a back patio, a custom chef's kitchen with a high-end features and a walk-in pantry, spacious laundry room with sink and cabinets. And I mean, look at those cabinets. That is a nice property. They did that one right. Out in Spring Hill, Florida, you get your more bang for your buck, honestly, in Hernando County. The amount of home you get for the price is it's kind of crazy when you look it up. So 147 Callaway Avenue in Spring Hill, Florida. Check that one out at platinumcoastalelite.com. Another property we'd like to showcase for you is, let's go with 2845 17th Avenue North in St. Pete. So now we're hopping over, we're jumping in the boat, or we're going to have to drive, get to the water, and then get in the boat, right, to go over to St. Petersburg. We got a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, just under 700 square feet. This is a perfect starter home. I know it doesn't sound like it's a big home, but the property is nice. They recently updated this. It's got a updated kitchen, really large backyard. North of the Kenwood area. It's minutes to downtown St. Pete, and as our buddy Mark Haye said the other day on the show, and he'll reiterate it again today for you, St. Pete, there's so much going on in downtown St. Pete. You got restaurants, you got little hangout spots, everything. It really is. So check it out, 2845 17th Avenue North, St. Petersburg, Florida, and you can see all the properties available to you from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams at platinumcoastalelite.com. That's platinumcoastalelite.com.
And of course, one of our endorsements today is Brio Tuscan Grill. Delicious food, wonderful ambiance. If you've not been there, they're located at International Mall, and we meet up over there on Thursday nights, right?
So the third Thursday of every month, we are doing a get-together, and Brio is our official hangout spot. We're trying to venture out and do a couple other places, but Brio has been our main. I was actually just there the other day for my anniversary. The calamari, highly recommended. The salmon al fresco, I believe. No, not al fresco. It's a salmon. Anyways, the salmon. It's absolutely amazing.
Every time we meet there, it gets a little crowded. So try to get there early. You'll get out and meet all the show partners and Brandon Rhymes. But today we have a special guest lineup. Today we have Mark Haye. He's going to tell us a little bit about retirement. How's it going today, Mark?
Good. How are you, sir? Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And today you had what you going to plan about?
Well, I was going to talk about traditional retirement plans versus self-directed retirement plans. Most people don't know that self-directed even exists, or what that is, or what's inside of it. So I was just going to briefly talk about both, and people know what traditional is: traditional 401k, traditional IRA, traditional Roth IRA. And just looking at that, you are in Wall Street, stocks, mutual funds, bonds. If you look at the fee structure on traditional, let's just say a 401k, most people are in 401ks through their employers.
Right.
You're looking at about 2.5% on a fee base with that plan. They're very expensive just because they're group plans, the government sponsored, and let's just use round numbers, and you save enough money and you get to $1 million. At 2.5%, you're paying $20,000 a year in fees, and it goes with it. So let's say it continues to grow and now it goes to $2 million. 2% of $2 million is it's $40,000. So that's a lot of fees. So when you retire, your broker or your advisor will roll it out and transferred into a traditional IRA. When you do that, you're still in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, Wall Street, and your fee goes down to maybe 1.5%, depending how generous your advisor is going to charge, his fee, and then mutual funds that you're in. So again, using $1 million, the same example, you're looking at $10,000-$15,000 a year in fees. Grows to $2 million. Hopefully, it goes to $2 million. You're at obviously $25,000-$30,000 in fees. Now, brokers will not talk about self-directed IRAs because self-directed IRAs is just that. It's self, meaning you are going to take control of your assets. You're going to take control of your retirement plan, and you're going to do what you love to do or want to do. Mm-hmm. That fee structure is literally $500 or less a year to have a self-directed IRA. And it doesn't matter how much money you have in that account, it's $500 or less a year. So using the same $1 million, you can pay $20,000, $10,000, or $500. But let's just use your traditional 401k. If you're paying $20,000 a year, and I could say, look, you can do that $1 million into a self-directed at $500. That's $19,500 a year of savings that we're doing just in the fees. If you held that for 10 years, that's $190,000 in fees that we just saved. We're not even talking about investments yet. Obviously, 20 years, you double it, it's almost $400,000 in fees. So once it goes into a self-directed, now you can invest in different things. Real estate. I want to go into private investments. I want to go into LLCs. I want to buy cars. I want to oil and gas, crypto, gold, silver. You can do things you like. And since we're in a real estate show, let's talk about real estate for a second, okay? Inside my personal self-directed IRA, and I'm an advisor with a self-directed IRA, okay? And so when you go to Merrill Lynch or you go to your other advisor at Fidelity and say, I want to put real estate in my IRA, they're going to say you can't do that because in a traditional, you cannot do that. They don't have that platform. It has to be moved to a self-directed. Once it goes to self-directed, your investments then can be real estate, and then we're going to use that as an example. So if I took a traditional IRA and I said, in the traditional IRA, you're going to be in whatever stock. You can be in Facebook or whatever you want to be. And in a self-directed, we're going to put it in real estate. The good thing about real estate is that appreciates, it's tax deferring. As you rent that out, the rent goes back into the IRA every month on a tax deferred basis. If something were to go wrong, the plumbing, is damaged and needs a new roof, the IRA pays that out. It doesn't come out of your pocket.
Right,
so the IRA owns it, it pays it, if there's anything wrong with it, etc. But what's cool if you sell the property inside your IRA, you don't pay any capital gains or anything on that because it's inside an IRA, which is a tax-deferred account. And so people that have massive IRAs are not IRAs that are mutual funds because a mutual fund is loaded with internal fees. You got 12B1 fees, expense fees, you got all that marketing fees, and that could be anywhere from 25 basis points all the way to a 1.5%. Whereas, again, if you put it into self-directed, your fee is what? I mean, you got to pay taxes and insurance, but that comes out of the IRA. Rent is going in tax deferred, and you're appreciating that asset on a tax deferred basis. You can sell that asset, not pay taxes, go buy another piece of property, and you can explode that IRA way faster than anything inside of a mutual fund, etc. So inside my personal self-directed IRA, I own a condo in Clearwater that I rent out.
Right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And obviously the last 5 years here in St. Pete, in Clearwater, Pinellas County, real estate has exploded, so it's more than doubled in value. Well, that is doubling in value inside my IRA on a tax-deferred basis. If I wanted to sell that today, I wouldn't pay any taxes. It would just go back my IRA, sit in cash.
Right.
All the rent I've been collecting goes back into my IRA, so that rent goes back in the IRA, it sits as cash. And then you say, well, what do you do with the cash? What do you want to do with it? Do you want to buy gold? Do you want to buy silver? Do you want to buy a car? You have business? What do you want to do with it? What I did was I put a bridge loan inside my IRA. So the cash that's in there, I lend out as a loan, bridge loan to contractors.
Okay.
And you can do that inside your self-directed IRA.
I think you're blowing people's minds right now because most people don't know all this.
Right. And
knowledge is power.
And the reason you don't know it is because your broker or your other advisor does not get paid. Okay,
right.
They're not getting a 1% wrap fee on a self-directed IRA. They're not getting paid by you buying real estate or buying gold or silver. They need to get paid by the mutual fund, the stock, and a traditional.
They want that $20,000 fee.
That's why they
100%.
don't divulge the information.
Right.
That's
You
right.
got it.
Now, that is mind-blowing. Right now, everyone that's listening to this, you can actually go and how do they get in touch with you?
You could text me, call me at 727-804-7220. It's 727-804-7220.
You have a website?
Yeah, xxifinancial.com. And but the best way to do is just get a hold of me, is text me. I'll respond to you.
When do you think the best time to start your retirement planning is?
Sooner than later. You know what I mean? So, for example,
at age 1.
Yeah, right now, I again, inside my IRA, I have that condo. I also have the bridge loan. I have a contractual guarantee on that bridge loan at 10% every 90 days.
No kidding.
So if I defer that and it pays me for over a year, let's say they need the money for a year, that's 46% I make in my IRA, tax deferred, contractually guaranteed. And if they don't pay it, I get the real estate back in my IRA because
tax deferred.
Right, because the real estate is backing that note, my bridge loan.
Right.
So I do things that are contractual. I do things that I can control. If you go into a mutual fund, most people don't even know what mutual funds are in. They're just, here's your 15 you can choose from inside your 401k. Go ahead and choose it, and sometimes just auto-populated, and they take whatever they want. Now, inside of a mutual fund, again, there's nothing you can do to control that. I mean, you could send some emails to the CEO. You can wish them all a good day. You can hopefully buy a product at Walmart. Maybe their stock goes up, but there's really no control. And that's why I just don't really like traditional. I'm not saying you can't have it, but
401's kind of what people have done a long time ago, but it's not really helping them out really in the long run of this future of what you can actually do for your retirement planning.
Right. And 401k was invented 45 years ago because they got rid of pensions. So the government, Wall Street, came up with an idea called the 401k. And who benefits from a 401k? Well, Wall Street, because they got all that money now coming into it automatically every single month. And then the IRS says, okay, we'll go in partnership with you, but we're going to tax you at a later date at what we declare down the road. So if you have $1 million and say, okay, we want to live off of it, they're going to say, okay, our tax rate is now 40%. We want 40%, at 40 cents of every dollar you take out. You're in a partnership with someone that will determine every single year what they want. And it's undisclosed what they want, and obviously with the way things are going, the spending and what's happening in the economy, our taxes are not going down.
Yeah,
you're not going to go, boy, 30 years from now, our tax is going to be really low. Where do you see that? I mean, our debt's out of control.
You really don't have control of that too when it's through an employer or whatever. And it's a perk. So like the person that's uneducated and doesn't know about how to save for their future and stuff. A job's like, oh, we're going to give you a 401k. So a person thinks, oh, that's great. Finally, I have some kind of retirement thing going on. But then another thing that happens too is like, let's say what X company that you work for, and then when they first start the 401k for you, you're with, let's say, Fidelity. And then they don't like the deal Fidelity's giving them anymore. And then they'll switch and go with another person. You had no say so in it. Whatever that company transfers to you, again, like self-directed is the way to go.
Well, we're going to have a little bit more when we come back. We're with Mark Haye and with Alec Black Belt Lehman, and I'm Thomas King. We'll see you guys in just a few minutes after the break.
Make sure to check us out, www.consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show.
Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, welcome back. I'm Thomas King. I do want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors here. It's IV, Replenish IV Solutions, vitamins, infusion drips, boost your immunity with Replenish IV Solutions. We're back here with Mark Haye. I'm Thomas King, and he's going to blow your mind just a little bit, so make sure you hold on because he's going to take the bull by the horns right here. Mark?
All right. So then we were just talking about traditional, so let's flip it to the Roth side. So Roth 401k, Roth IRA, and Roth self-directed. The difference between traditional and a Roth is just how it's taxed. So traditional, you're going to be taxed at the end of the day, meaning when you retire, you're going to be taxed on every dollar you pull out that the government declares. If you do Roth, it's all tax-free, everything. So everything I just talked about, if you put real estate inside of a Roth IRA, okay, and that appreciates and you sell it for $1 million, $2 million inside of that Roth IRA, you never pay taxes on that. If you bought a piece of property inside your Roth IRA for $250,000, 10, 20, 30 years from now, you sell it for $2 million. Let's say it moved up that much.
Great.
That $1.5 million of gains is all tax-free because it's inside your Roth.
That's how rich people get
That's
rich.
how you do it. And then you take the money out tax-free. And then you could say, all right, but I want to know more about this bridge loan, promissory notes and tax liens, because we do tax liens inside self-directed. Tax liens is a very, very good investment because it's guaranteed, backed by the government. Either you're going to get paid 18% or you're going to get the property. I mean, that's the two ways it works. Right. You know what I mean? So we put tax liens inside self-directed IRAs, but let's talk about the bridge loan. If you can contractually get 10% every 90 days, okay, I'll tell people put money in it for 90 days, right? So that's 3 months. Mm-hmm. And then put it back in cash for the next 9 months. You made 10% for the year. I promise you, you can't
Tax-free.
go to Merrill Lynch and guarantee 10% for the whole year in the stock market, minus the fees, everything else, and all I did was hold your money for 3 months, and I contractually gave you the 10% on that promissory note.
Wow.
So the Roth IRA is a very, very strong vehicle because it's all tax-free. You get the government out of it, okay? And then you put the assets in that you enjoy. You know, I always tell people investing should be fun. You shouldn't be in something that stresses you out and looking at a piece of paper going up and down and, oh, my goodness, the stock market, and looking at that. I don't necessarily really look at the stock market because I have a lot of my investments diversified in different things. Now, don't get me wrong. I got Amazon and Tesla. Yeah. But let's just take it again. We'll talk about the real estate. If I put a piece of real estate inside of a Roth IRA and that rent comes in tax-free and depreciates tax-free and I sell it, and guess what I can do? I can rent it, and then, I don't know, let's go take a family vacation to my investment property that's inside my Roth IRA that I don't really have to pay for
Which
because
is now a write-off.
You're going to go travel and do that, but enjoy your investments. You know what I mean? Enjoy what you have inside of it. Don't put it in things that you don't even understand or know or even enjoy just because we're indoctrinated with, let's go on Wall Street in this 401k and let's hope it works out when we know it does, and you got a 1% chance it's even going to work.
Absolutely. You don't even know where the market's going to be at the end of this year. I mean, it could be at the bubble and burst. It's gone so high and
at
out
the end
of control.
Of the day, you never know what's going to happen. You'll freak out if you watch the stock market. You know, just stare at the screen. You'll go nuts.
Yeah, and then who cares about how much money you have on a piece of paper? Who cares? You know, I tell people all the time, like $1 million or $2 million. Oh, my IRA's worth $1 million, $2 million. Okay, now what?
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to spend it. Okay, how much you want to spend? Well, I don't want to run out of money. I don't want to pay taxes. Okay, so you can't really ever enjoy your money. You know what I mean? You're just going to look at a piece of paper, and then you're going to think, well, I don't really want to spend it because my wife and I are going to live 30, 40 years in retirement, so I got to be very conservative and spend it very, very, wisely. So maybe 3 or 4% withdrawal, which is $40,000, $50,000 a year. Then I owe the government $10,000, $20,000 a year, so I'm going to net 35 grand. So your million is going to net $35,000 a year of income. That's ridiculous. No one can live off that. They can't do it right now, let alone 20, 30 years from now.
I love what you said, and you can go ahead and spend some of it on a vacation. My neighbor was next to me. They were just retiring. Her husband died right before they retired, and then 2 months later, they had this whole thing planned out for the rest of their lives on where they're going to travel, and then 2 months later, she died. All that money that they saved in investing and all that, couldn't spend a dime of it.
Yep, and my philosophy is not accumulation. It's not accumulation waiting 20, 30 years. It's cash flow today.
Yes.
So you can live your lifestyle today with your family, take the vacations you want to take. If I can generate enough cash flow for you to pay all your bills, and then your income is on top of that, you can spend that income, invest that income, you can enjoy it, you can live your life. Who wants to wait 30 years and maybe it works out? And then you get there and you don't want to spend it because you don't want to run out of money or pay the taxes. So you die. Your wife gets it. She don't want to spend it or pay the taxes because she don't want to run out of money. And then now the kids get it. They don't want to spend it because they don't want to pay the taxes. So who kept the money?
Pay the taxes?
Wall Street and the government kept your money the entire time, and they enjoyed it the whole time. And you never enjoyed your money. You just looked at it on a piece of paper and said, "Boy, I hope this works out." Who cares?
You know how many millions of people do this because they don't have people like you to tell them this is what you need to do?
We're indoctrinated. Just follow the money. Wall Street and government.
Right.
Follow the money. Who's making the money?
At the end of the day.
Why do you think people aren't coming in or right now, and what do they need? Let's say someone came to you right now. What do they need to bring to you so you can actually set it up to show them what they need to do for their retirement
I literally
plan?
would need a 10-minute conversation.
That's
and
it, phone or in person?
Phone, email, person, I don't care. And you say, this is where I'm at. This is what we like to do. And I could literally say in 10 minutes, here's what I recommend. It's free. You can take my recommendation or not. Some people don't like it. I mean, I get a lot of advisors who hate me because I'm just taking away all their money. Because why pay an advisor 1.5% fee when you can do all this stuff on your own and make way more money and actually control it? Right. And that real estate that you own inside your Roth IRA or IRA, you can control that asset. You can fix it up. You can paint it, put new lighting. You can get the tenants you want in there. You control it. If you put your money into a mutual fund, you are not controlling anything. You can't even control the fee structure on that. They're just going to take it from you.
Right. I bet you have a lot of people come back to you and say they love you for what you have done for them on setting up their lives and giving them something of a goal and able to spend their money and not have it to wait till
I tell
they're
people
80 years
I
old.
tell people all the time, you can go 30 years or you can listen to me and I can make you very wealthy in 3 to 5. Give me 3 or 5 years because I can take advantage of the tax code.
Right.
I can take advantage of your fee structure and get it way down. We can invest in things that actually make you money, that you enjoy, that you can actually earn something, control it. I mean, give me 3 to 5 years, and I promise you I can make you to where you would be in 30 years.
That's a short and small commitment to make you wealthy and stable for
a lot of people are afraid to make that sacrifice, though. Sacrifice like a year of your life, 2 years or 3 years of your life to be where you want to be long term. People don't think big picture because subconsciously or even consciously they want that, like, well, that security, sleep at night. Well, it's too much numbers for me. It's too confusing. I just want to go with what my job does. I just don't want to deal with it.
And that's what we need.
You got to stop being afraid, man. You got to live.
Exactly. What kind of advice would you give someone that's scared or doesn't have a lot of money right now?
Well, you got to take advantage of the tax code. That's really how you make your money.
That's
and
how
so
you start.
We're a really good job at just setting up LLCs, and we do all that and take advantage of the tax code.
About a minute and a half.
But I will tell you, and I'll end with this: it's not reducing. It's not reducing and scrimping and saving and conserving. It's expanding. Expand your means. And how do you do it? You take advantage of the tax code. You take advantage of assets you can control, and you have cash flow. So I'm telling you, 3 to 5 years, I can make you so that your cash flow is paying all your bills and your income is on top of that.
Thank you, Mark, for letting everyone know how this actually works. And, Mark, one more time, how do people get in touch with you? Because this is something that they actually need to get in touch with you instead of sinking money into a market that could be gone tomorrow.
727-804-7220. Again, 727-804-7220.
Thank you for coming on the show today. We had a great time. If you had any questions, please give him a call, or you can call the Consumer Quarterback Show. What's that number for here?
Yeah, you can call our hotline anytime, guys, and we'll put you in contact with all of our show partners. 727-263-3707. One more time, that's 727-263-3707. That's an off-air number. We'll put you in contact with Mark Haye, Thomas King, myself, anybody that you've ever listened to on the show, or even if you're interested in selling your property. But, we're here to help people. That's literally what we do. We sit around on a weekly basis, and we try to point you guys in the right direction. Everybody that's on the show, we're all a network. Like, we all work with each other.
That's what we do.
When I want to go to the firing range, I go to Florida Firearms Academy. No lie, like, no cap. When my financial advisor is Mark Haye. I use Mark Haye. I've sat down and I've had that 10-minute conversation with him, and it's life-changing. It really is.
Great. So,
appreciate it.
Amazing information. Thank you, Mark, again, for coming on the show. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, Alex, for being here.
Always.
If you have any questions, always get back with Brandon Rhymes on the consumerqb.com.
Yeah, guys, we'll be back. Michael Emdy coming up next, Massive IT.
Yes, welcome back. I'm Thomas King, CEO and owner of Florida Firearms Academy. If you've never been there, go to ffatampa.com. Check it out. We have another special guest. It's Michael Emdy. He is with Massive Security, or were you?
Massive IT.
Massive IT. But you do security as well, right?
Huge part of what
That's
we do.
what you do. I love it. I think Brandon, he's out today. He's at the border, protecting our border and stopping all the fentanyl from coming across. So I'm filling in for him today. I am your host. But welcome in. And what are you going to be speaking about today, Michael?
Talking about technology and how it's entering our lives physically, virtually, and from all angles, social and business.
Is that from an AI's perspective or on the security part of it?
AI, it's all intermingled now. It's not just one thing. It's AI, it's security, it's the data privacy, all the things you're giving away that you don't even know that you're giving away just walking down the street.
It's terrifying because, you know what, I just recently had a video made of me. I'm speaking German. It looks like me. It sounds like me. It looks like I'm saying it in Spanish, whatever language you want. And it's not even me doing it, but that's
the
terrifying.
deep fakes. Yeah,
the deep fakes. How is that going to be into a law where people know? Is it like a watermark, or this is a real video?
You can't differentiate what's real and what's not real anymore. It's getting. I mean, you can tell to an extent. Like, if you really study it, you're like, something looks off. Like, it looks like almost like a slightly bad dubbed. Somebody was off with the dubbing or something. But the technology is getting better and better.
Mine looks absolutely real.
You're not going to be able to differentiate like what is truth, what is fiction anymore, and that's not good.
How do you differentiate it?
Well, I think your friends and relatives are going to know, because they're going to know your mannerisms and what you say and how you do it, right? But the rest of the world, absolutely not. It's getting that good, and it's going to be a real issue. And from a legislative standpoint, our lawmakers, just generationally don't have that experience, don't have the foundation. Like your kids. We'd all say our kids are geniuses on the computer, geniuses with a smartphone, right? Because they grew up with it. It's second nature for them. Yeah. But from a legislative standpoint and laws and protecting ourselves from it, that's going to be a real challenge in the short term.
So for companies right now getting hacked, or people using AI to overtake their website, just yesterday, my website, I got a call, said I had a 404 error, and I called my IT person, and of course she took care of it. But It said that my website didn't exist.
Well, it's even a challenge for IT personnel, like experts who've been in the industry for a while. It's even a challenge. Things move so quickly. Yeah. They have to keep up. They have to stay certified. They have to stay educated. They have to keep up with what's going on, at large. And it changes. Moore's law says technology doubles every 18 months. Well, security in this case is doubling and tripling
every
daily,
6 months.
daily, weekly, monthly,
Right.
quarterly.
Whatever you learn now, tomorrow it's obsolete.
Yeah, there's things called zero-day exploits, and those zero-day exploits are things that happen right now that nobody knows about. Somebody has to figure out, like, hey, my website's down. I got a 404. Why is it down? And then a security expert looks at it and says, oh, here's the problem. We've never seen this before. And then they reverse engineer it, figure it out. Then they publish it, right? You get the WannaCry or the Log4j or whatever exploit it is. They've identified it. But until they identify it and reverse engineer and figure it out, that's a zero-day exploit. It happened today. Today is ground zero, patient zero.
Wow. So do you go to conferences and stuff, Michael, to like stay up on this stuff, or like, I mean, obviously it's changing so rapidly, so fastly. But how does like an IT expert stay on top of this because it's so rapid? I mean,
it's a full-time job.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yes, yeah, we attend conferences, meetings. We're all constantly consuming new information, sharing ideas, testing, talking to vendors. Right? There's a wealth of knowledge out there, but it's a full-time job to try to absorb that and stay as up to date as possible. It's a real challenge.
I bet. Are we ready for Skynet? This is the craziest thing. What right now? I don't think people are aware of how much AI is played into what we do every day now. And the people that are very up to speed on AI, tomorrow it changes, and we don't know where we're at, and we don't know what next law that needs to protect us.
We were talking off air about how it's like unavoidable now. You can't opt out of it. Like even if you do a basic Google search now, AI is part of that Google search. I don't know if you guys, the last time you've looked at what it says, like at the top of your Google search, it gives like an AI breakdown before it gets to your search options. Same thing with Meta. You don't just hit the little magnifying glass anymore to do a search. There's AI. I mean,
my new phone is AI driven.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's nuts. You can't opt out of it even if you wanted to.
But it's great for my business. I'm
There's
doing
positives,
a lot of things. But then later down the road, is that something that I can copyright? Like if I did a logo, is that really my logo or? We don't know.
Question.
That's something that's evolving right now, and ChatGPT is out in the mainstream public, right? It's available to everybody. And you've heard companies, Samsung put source code into ChatGPT, and that's now part of ChatGPT. So if you wanted to go learn something about whatever they were doing, you could literally get it. Business plans have been put in, financials have been put in, because people didn't realize the consequence of it.
Wow.
So companies like Microsoft and others are now developing business siloed ChatGPT services, right? Microsoft is called Copilot. And with that, it's looking at your data, your documents, your PDFs, your spreadsheets, your business plans, but keeping all that data siloed inside of your company, inside of your business. And so now you have a protected instance of ChatGPT, right, of AI that's for your business and uses your business data. And so when you put in a logo or you put in a financial plan or some information that you don't want leaked out, that stays protected.
Yeah. Then again, it's just a matter of time, though, not to be cynical, but I almost have to. It's just a matter of time before someone cracks that.
Absolutely.
And gets into your information there.
This week I was over in St. Augustine. It was my niece's little, she was graduating from high school. And I kid you not, I think there was 500 kids graduating. I think every one of those 500 kids used ChatGPT to graduate.
And they all had their phones out, too.
They all knew exactly how to write their essays, and they said they all use it. And these are kids, and they're growing up in this generation, and they're going to be well equipped with how AI works.
I mean, let's be real, wouldn't you, though? Like when you were in high school, if you told me that to get out of doing my exams or having to do my big, thesis or whatever, that I could have just had a computer write it for me, like, I'm out, man. I want to go hang out with my friends. I want to go to the ball game or camping or whatever.
They said there's a way you can put another program in where it has errors in there so it doesn't look like ChatGPT.
It doesn't look too perfect.
Right. Exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it anonymizes it. And this is a bigger issue, right?
Correct.
That our educational system, our curriculum that was developed back in the 1920s, and what we do today, it carries all the way through. And instead of writing that and spending hours and hours and days and weeks writing that thesis or essay or whatever that
truly learning,
right? They're going to have to change the curriculum and the approach that you can use these tools because they are using the tools.
Sickening.
Right?
And we've already lowered standards as far as what you're learning. So now you've lowered the standards and they're not putting in the work.
But it's a different approach to keep the standards where they should be but use it in a way that you have to drive it. Sure, it'll write it, but you have to give it the content. You have to give it the results.
Put forth effort.
Yeah, you have to put forth the effort to create it, right? Which is what you have to do now in ChatGPT. But the educational system and at large is going to have to embrace that tool and that platform and the technology and learn how to leverage that.
So it's constantly learning, but how do you know if it's a biased perspective on what it's learning? Is it learning the right side or the left side? And like I got banned from Facebook last night for I posted up something for the VFW for the 501 or 5K walk, and is it just because of the algorithms that I use that it's looking at, or how does it follow me? So the people, there's terrorists out there trying to post people and get to people and stuff, but they get to my page, my little personal page.
Yeah, how do they
Why
zero in on you?
Why do they always come after me?
Well, today ChatGPT and the whole large language models are developed based on the content that they've been fed, right? Which is the content of the internet. And we all know what's all over the internet. You can go to places that are bad and,
Underground, dark web.
Underground,
for sure.
things,
biased info
things
sites,
that are very
non-biased.
far left, very far right, things that are made up, things that are wrong.
Rabbit
people
hole,
trolling.
right?
Yeah, just the rabbit holes you can
It's
go
a lot
down.
to cipher through.
And for us,
It
you know,
is.
you may find it entertaining, right? Sometimes you're like, oh, let's see where this crazy theory goes,
Yeah.
right? But for the large language model, it's saying, well, this information was fed to me, and I'm going to use
So
that.
it takes it as gospel truth.
Well,
Whoa.
but it also takes the other side of it and says, well,
Into consideration.
it can figure out like that's not valid, or it gives it a score like this is not a valid point, and all these others are a more valid point. But to your point, it is ingesting all this data, making these decisions. So it's only acting on what it's fed, because it's not to the point where it's conscious yet, making its own decisions,
You
using
should
its
say
own.
yet.
He did say, yeah.
Yet.
What?
Come
Yet.
with me if you want to live.
I know,
So-
you scared me here.
We're moving in that direction. Even the founders of AI are saying, we're not quite sure how it's making the leap in some of these decisions, how it's getting to these conclusions.
Because it's smarter than we are.
It's smarter than we are. Well, it's really more complex of
Sure,
a system
sure.
that
Right.
that it's trying to get to, right?
So people right now, you if you're listening to this show right now, Brandon Rhymes Consumer Quarterback Show, what you're looking at right now is so much that it's so hard to comprehend. There are apps on there you can get right now that are AI based, that you can make your kids are watching these or paying a monthly subscription to, dating their phone. Basically, it is either a woman or a man. You can have them dress however they want, however you look, your perfect model, and they will talk to you and say things to you. How are you? I love you. I miss you. And you're having these relationships with your phone with this person
I'm done.
on these apps. So people, please monitor your kids' phones. Learn what they're looking at, because if they're getting in having a relationship like that with their phone, they may never want to date anyone.
The argument there, though, I guess dating your phone is sometimes better than dating someone in the general public. It depends out there. But
Get a
I'm
cat
not,
or a
I'm not
dog.
condoning that, just so we're clear on any shit. You know, one thing that really, and I think is super suspect as well, and I think within months we're going to see more application of it. I know it's already happening. It's going to be more mainstream soon, within the next couple years. I'll throw that number out there. When you have like MIT people building like robots, the way that they're moving and how articulate they are, and they have robots that cook and they can do backflips.
They're
and stuff.
16 grand. I just saw one.
Dude. Exactly. We were just talking about the other day at the range.
Right.
And then now you implant AI in that robot. You're literally creating robots with artificial intelligence beyond just like
Smarter than
servitude.
you?
Beyond servitude. It is
24
constantly
hours they work?
scanning and taking in data. We're getting into such sketchy territory, man. It is so crazy.
And what you just said, they don't have conscious yet of how they feel. If they don't,
It's a
you know,
matter
what
of the
is life?
programming.
Life is being unplugged to them. They're alive.
Yeah.
So
Well, when you use ChatGPT today, like version 4, and the answers that you get back, you think, God, this thing is all knowing, right?
up with it?
This
Yeah.
knows how to do everything. I don't know how to do anything. And
it's terrifying.
and you make the leap into warfare and using
Correct.
those robots in those circumstances. And the big ideological challenge with the warfare aspect is who's making the decision to pull the trigger?
Yes.
Right? And is it a valid decision? Because right now that's in the hands of the soldier who's been trained with compassion, right? And decision-making processes to shoot, no shoot sort of thing,
Does
right?
not compute, not
And
logical.
I always think like you cannot beat
What's the error rate?
You can't beat human reflexes, but a human cannot beat the calculations that a computer makes.
At
so
some
they will be more
point,
calculated.
AI is going to say humans are the threat to this planet.
It just has to be told that humans are the threat.
The big catastrophe.
Right.
Yes.
You're listening to the Super Quarterback Show with Alec Blacksbach Lehman and Michael Emdy. We'll be right
Welcome
after
to Conspiracy Hour, ladies and gentlemen.
right after these messages.
Catch you guys soon. Check us out, www.consumerqb.com. Don't go anywhere.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, welcome back. I'm Thomas King, CEO of Florida Firearms Academy, filling in for Brandon Rhymes, the host. If you've never been to Florida Firearms Academy, we were just rated #1 shooting range store and academy. We have 20 different instructors there. Give them a call, 813-221-FIRE. I have Alex Black Belt Lima in the show. And on the house, in the studio, we have Michael Emdy with Mass IT. Michael, how does people get a hold of you right now?
Definitely through the website, www.massiveit.com or sales@massiveit.com, or they can give us a call at 813-518-5454.
What do you got going on for Memorial Day? You have any specials?
We're doing risk assessments, right? Security assessments. It's one thing that businesses are really getting kind of blindsided by is the vulnerabilities that they have because things move so fast, things change so much, and they're not necessarily keeping up with their security. Didn't used to be such a big deal 10, 15, 20 years ago. Now it's changing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and if you're not keeping up with it, you're going to get blindsided.
What does that mean, keeping up with it? I don't know what that means.
Configuration, Windows updates on most systems, right? Most of the world
so
is
your
running
basic
Windows.
stuff,
Basic stuff. Do they have antivirus and malware and ransomware protection? We have customers who are getting emails. They click a link, it downloads this program, and then next thing you know, it encrypts their computer, and then it encrypts the computer next to them, and the one over there, and the one over there, and suddenly nobody can access their computer or their data, and then they get a message that says, transfer this amount of Bitcoin to this Bitcoin account, and we'll unlock your data.
Is that one of the biggest scams going on, or viruses right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Happens all the time.
Is that through an email?
Comes through email. It comes through websites. People are going to websites. You have employees who are, clickbait, going on websites and like, oh, I want to read this article. They click it, and then next thing you know, their computer's infected. And I'm simplifying it, oversimplifying it for those guys who are out there in the comments down below are going to start blowing me up. But at the high level, from a business owner perspective, you need to be spending money on security. And most business owners look at it and go, oh my God, that's so expensive. Like, I'm not paying that. Well, it's a lot cheaper.
Like, what is an average price?
So there's a lot of layers that go into it, and you're going to be spending anywhere from $100 to $200 per person if you really want to get the security you need.
Per day, per year?
Per month.
Per month, okay.
Yeah, and you're being driven towards that by the insurance companies who are going to give you the cyber insurance questionnaire. And they're going to have checkboxes and drop downs. Do you have this antivirus? Do you have this firewall? Do you have multi-factor authentication turned on?
Nope.
Do you have it turned on for everybody? We had a customer who got hacked, submitted a $1 million claim, got denied when a claims adjuster showed up because everybody had MFA except one guy. Guess who the one guy was?
The big guy.
The CEO.
Oh, jeez.
They denied the claim.
That's, did you hear about that in Vegas? They overtook, was it one of the couple of the casinos? And you know how they got into these casinos?
Oh, yeah.
It was
fish tank about it.
Oh, you were just talking about that?
He's talked about it before on the show.
Yes, that's just amazing.
That's nuts,
Something
right?
so easy.
We had one get compromised through their copier.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Because it's all connected, Wi-Fi.
It's all
connected.
Copier. I just recently got one. It was from a former employee. It said, hey, I've updated my payroll information. Please click on the link to send me my whatever something. And I'm like, I'm looking as I send this to my IT guy. I didn't click on anything because it didn't look right. And he said, no, that's some kind of spam. If you're getting that kind of stuff, are they already have your stuff?
No, but
they just have your email.
They have your email.
Okay.
So what they do is they target someone, they compromise them, they get in their email, and from their email, they harvest all the other emails. Everyone that you've talked to, everyone that's talked to you, right? On the CC line, on the BCC line, etc. And then they take those emails and they plug them into the machine, and the machine spits out more emails to all the rest of those people. And so they're targeting you, right? And they're not necessarily after you. They're just after you.
Right. They want the money.
Even from just the annoyance factor of all this, it's like it's ridiculous that we've come to this as a society. It's so malicious. People's intent, the malicious things they do with your information. Like, how did we get here, man? Like, you know, how
It's
did
all
we get here
about
as a
the
society?
Benjamins. And, you know, this one lady I know, she just recently had her whole life savings taken from her from an email scam.
Oh, my God.
This is something that's
gotta go back to
happening
work.
Terrible.
over and over again. Email.
It's too common.
Email was created as a method of communication, but
Yeah.
it was meant as a pure, like, hey, I'm going to send you a message, you know, electronically. It's
Almost how we
convenient.
use text,
Yeah,
essentially.
how
now.
we use text. Yeah, exactly how it was created. But what it was not created with is security in mind. So the underlying email infrastructure did not have security baked into it. Now, we've been bolting on as an industry, you know, the technology
Trying to
industry,
improve
upon it, and we have, right? It's gotten a lot better and a lot more secure, but we're still bolting on those pieces. But still, AI is now coming out, what we were just talking about. Guess what? They're not baking into it, right? The legislation, the human factor, like what's going to happen? Are the robots going to take over, right? They're not baking that in. They're just giving you the raw technology. And yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. It's amazing. But what are the consequences, right? And email was the same thing. Back in the 60s or 70s when they developed it, there was no security. Look where we are now with all the spam and the phishing and the this and the that, right? Where are we going to be in 10, 20, 30, 50 years with AI? That's the question. But it's happening all over again, and it happens all the time. Things are made out of convenience. There's an itch, you got to scratch it. But did we think about what's going to happen after we scratched?
Yeah, that's kind of terrifying. So when people look at mass IT, you think people say, like, what was that guy that put all that free antivirus into the government, and then he spied on the government? What was that guy? And they went after him. Was it McAfee?
John McAfee.
Yeah, that guy.
Great story.
Craziest
story.
Yeah.
Craziest thing. So how do people know? Like, they go, oh, I can go to mass IT. I can trust these guys.
Well, exactly, same thing. You know, McAfee is a story. SolarWinds was another, where SolarWinds, their source code of their application was compromised and malware inserted in that. And what a great way to get your foot in the door everywhere as a hacker is to put it into the product and then let the company sell the product and get it in everywhere.
Who were they working with? What was that one?
That was a Russian hacking group compromised the product of SolarWinds, which is a monitoring system to monitor computer systems, right? And then SolarWinds was selling the product, right?
Oh my God!
And when
who's at fault?
And when you as a customer press update, you literally said, "Hey, SolarWinds, give me the latest code and the latest updates," you know, which happened to contain some extra undocumented features.
Yeah.
And the government got hacked, as well as corporate America got hacked as well, right?
No one is immune. No one is immune.
So you ask, how do you trust us? You have to do your due diligence. You know, ask questions. How long we've been in business? You know, who's on staff? Do we do background checks, drug screenings, all the normal things you would do, and that's how you vet tech companies. Get references and call the references.
So when they have a problem, they call you, and a human picks up the phone, not an AI.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. That's
as far
hard
as
for
that
today.
alone.
There's so many AIs answering the phone right now. Michael, when someone gets compromised, let's say my business got compromised and they got all the credit card information from all my members, who's at fault there? Am I in liability for the lawsuit?
You are vulnerable to that. If you don't have the due diligence of the necessary security and controls in place to mitigate that, then you can be at fault. And the PCI, most of the banks are forcing you through a PCI compliance, payment card industry compliance. And it's basically self-certifying that, yes, I have a firewall. Yes, I have multi-factor authentication. Yes, I use complex passwords, meaning more than 4 characters or 8 characters with uppercase, lowercase numbers, that sort of thing. And if you don't have those things in place, then you definitely are putting yourself at risk. And that's why all companies, all businesses, shameless plug, should talk to us and ask these questions, or let us do the assessment and tell you where you're vulnerable.
What's the assessment? Is there a fee on that? You just come out, or what do you guys do?
We do an initial assessment, which is about 15, 20 minutes, and we just go through what you have, ask you the questions. Do you do this? Do you have this? And if you say, I don't know, well, you're failing, right? Or
then
you
need mass IT.
Then you need some help. Yeah,
Right,
you absolutely need some help.
Once again, Michael, how does everyone get a hold of you?
www.massiveit.com. You can email us at sales@massiveit.com or give us a call at 813-518-5454.
Once again, Alex, another fantastic show.
Good stuff, man. Good. So we really have an amazing group of people when we all get together.
Great information. Thank you again for coming on, Michael. That's great stuff. And again, reach out to him. If your company is going to be compromised, you're going to be the one holding the bill. Make sure you get out with Mass IT. They'll go ahead and take care of your needs.
Preventative maintenance is always cheaper than trying to fix the problem after it's already exploded on you. So
it is.
Check us out, guys. www.consumerqb.com. And as always, we ask you to go out there and commit a random act of kindness. I say it all the time. Let's cut the crap, people. Let's be good to each other. All right. See you guys next time.
You've been listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.